Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Data Vault podcast, your home for everything Data Vault connected. I'm Neil Strange, the CEO of Data Vault, leading Data Vault consultancy and implementer, and I'm here today with Alex Higgs, our Automate TV product manager.
Hello.
Hello. This is an interesting topic. We're going to talk about business keys today.
Excellent.
Excellent. I'm sure everyone's waiting to hear about business keys, and I'm sure we've got plenty to say on the matter.
It's a big topic. Yeah.
Okay. So. I guess I better start off by sort of giving a little explanation of what they are. Okay, so a business key is something that identifies a hub in Data Vault, and a hub is a concept.
Yes.
What's a concept? Well, if I'm running a business, these are things I use basically to operate my business by. So I have customers, I have suppliers, I have invoices, I have products, accounts, all those sorts of things are the concepts which we use to run our business by. And every one of them needs to have an identifier where you need to uniquely label each one of those things. Now, if you look inside the business, there is often a choice of what you can use to identify these objects.
For better or for worse, yeah.
Yeah, some are better than others. So the best thing we can find is what's called a natural key, or the business key part of it. And the natural key is something that identifies a concept from the natural attributes or columns that describe that attribute, that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you think about your customer, you've got a customer name. Now, if it's a business you're dealing with, you might have their the company name, maybe their registration number in a company register. You might have a Dunning number, or DUNS number rather, attached to them. Address, those sorts of things.
So maybe like a VAT if you're in the UK.
Maybe a VAT number, but,
Yeah.
but if you're dealing with overseas businesses, that kind of gets rid of that as an option.
Exactly.
So you've got to find an attribute or combination of attributes that are unique given the thing you're dealing with, the object that you're dealing with. Okay, and the reason we go for these natural attributes is that if you have that thing, that concept, in multiple systems, okay, each system should be holding those attributes that uniquely identify it, and therefore you get like a passive key popping, integration point popping out from across the various sources in your business. That's the dream.
Yeah.
And it does work. It does work for many systems, but unfortunately, not every system does that. And what we find is that when companies or systems are built, application systems are built, the system itself assigns some internal number to that object. Okay,
Yes.
so you might see a computer screen pop up with your customer record, and there'll be like a customer reference number, and then maybe a customer ID, and that ID might be a GUID. It might be a horrible looking set of strings and stuff.
ABC 1 2 3 7 8 9.
That sort of thing, or some sequence number or something generated for them, or some combined number like CXYZ, where XYZ is the particular branch that signed the customer up. Some constructed key in there. Don't do that, please. But you get these various things pop up. Now, the thing about system generated keys are, well, first of all, they're quite arbitrary. So, do you ever remember your GUID?
No, it's too long and it doesn't really mean anything.
Right. So the other thing about business keys then are they tend to be usable. So you should be able to, people usually should be able to read them back to you, or they should be snappy enough to remember.
Yeah, like an email address, for example.
The email address is very good for people, yes, generally, but not everyone has an email
Exactly.
address. So, you need to find something that is true for all members of your population that you're looking at. So you've got natural columns. So if those exist, use that. That's your business key. And that way it makes the data far more interoperable, much more easy to integrate with other sources.
And you can look at it at face value and it makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if that's not possible, I'm thinking about things like, classic one is like person. Now, what uniquely identifies a person?
Well, usually their DNA, right?
Well, it is DNA at the far end of things, but I mean, I'm not sure
if
even
you go
then
right down.
I'm not sure even then if it's absolutely unique.
Yeah.
But I've heard stories of where DNA does get duplicated across individuals, and I'm not sure if those are true or not. But the thing about that is you have DNA is one thing, but that's really personal data and very sensitive. You wouldn't want to be able to store that. And besides which, would you want to take the DNA scrape of every customer you've got just so they could be on your database?
I
don't think so.
It's unnecessary usage as well, right?
So then you fall back to their name. But then how many Mark Smiths do you know?
Well, I don't know many personally, but I think there's many in the world. Yes,
precisely. I think I remember a project I was on once where there was several strangers working on the project. Believe it or not. So you then go back to so name, then usually the date of birth, and place of birth. And if you do that, named, place of birth, date of birth to postcode sort of area, certainly in the UK, you're then down to I think at most 4 people are captured at a time, but usually that's enough to uniquely identify. If you ever fill in a passport application, you always used to provide your father's name, mother's name, father's place of birth, mother's date of birth. That's what you need to do to uniquely identify you for a passport application.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
So, but you're not going to ask that from your customers.
No.
Okay, so you're going to fall back to a business process. The process assigns a customer reference number. If you can't find that, then you're down to some sort of system-generated number. Now, the trouble you have then is you've got multiple systems in your organization, and each of those would assign maybe a different number to the same customer.
Yeah, if it's a sequence number, for example, it might say 1 at this point in time, 2 in this point in time. Well, different systems.
Customer 1 in system 1, maybe customer 200 in the next one, and 775 in the next one. Okay, so you can load these into the hub. So you're going to be loading all this data into the hub. If you've got no cross-reference between those keys, you're going to have to realise you've got 3 times as many customers as you actually have, because you can't resolve which one's which.
You've got duplicates without realising it.
But what if I have each system's got a customer 1, but each system has a different customer as number 1? How would we start to work on that?
Well, you almost have to. You have to make it unique in some way, right? So I'm aware of collision codes.
Collision codes, I think so, yeah. So what's the collision code?
Good question. Usually, from my experience, it's essentially you add the system identifier to the key so that you can differentiate between system A, system B for the same record.
So it's another column in the hub called collision code.
Yeah.
And you put little abbreviation in there which tells me what system generated that code.
Yes.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. So let's say I have 4 systems in my business, and I've got customer in each of those 4 systems.
Okay.
But 3 of those systems do collaborate, and 1 doesn't. Okay, so I've got the customers created in one system, but passed around to other systems with that number attached to them.
Yes.
Okay, so when I report from those other systems load that into the hub, essentially I've got the same collision code from that system that created that identifier.
Right. Yeah.
So if the record was created in system A, the code is system A.
Yeah.
Collision code A.
With you so far.
If that data's passed to system B, but it still has the system A number on it, when you report from system B, you still say it's the system A's code in that collision.
Okay.
So you can get that passive integration across the 3 systems that share.
Okay.
The 4th system that didn't would be loaded as a separate identifier.
Yeah.
And what you do then is if you have lookups which say this code's the same as this system over here, then you can store same as links to say these are equivalent or not.
Yeah, because it's basically just a link. You've still got 2 concepts.
That's it. And if that worries you, then this is raw data we're loading in. So you may want to then eventually maybe pass a business rule that makes some interpretation about who the real customers are and tries to make those joins happen.
Okay.
And then publishes the sort of constrained list or the controlled list out for use in the business vault.
Is that the same as like a golden record kind of thing?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you choose one as the one to trust. Yeah.
Now we get on to the really difficult things. So what happens if you've got some kind of concept that you can't find a key for at all?
Good luck.
So there's no system identified number.
Yeah.
You get this in older data sets sometimes. I've seen this in COBOL feeds and so on, where you get a dump of data. It's just a list.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you look across. So the one that always springs to mind is a list of shareholders attached to a company report.
Okay.
Yeah. And all it does is it lists the shareholder by name and the type of shares and the amount of shares they hold and nominal value. Okay. And you have a long list, maybe 100 people, maybe 1,000 or more people on that list who are the owners of the business. And that comes out every year. Okay. And each year the order might be sorted in a different way. And just because you have a M Smith here, it doesn't mean it's the same as M Smith next time.
As data engineer, that sounds like a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. So first thing is, the question is, are these concepts? So is a shareholder a concept or not? And it depends on the problem you're trying to solve. So if it's not a concept, you stick that in a multi-active satellite and away. Okay. Something like that. Then you have, if they are concepts and you want to be creating a hub for shareholder, you're left to really the row number in that data feed.
Yeah, so system generated.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to use the row number to identify the shareholder for that, and probably also the report date, because each time you get the report, you don't know if it's the same shareholder or not. So yeah, so that's the complication on that, and that might lead you to think that actually this isn't a concept that you want to play with.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, anything else you want to add to that?
Don't think so. No, I mean, one of the things I get asked quite a lot is, how would I do that in Automate DV, Alex? How would I implement a collision code?
Okay.
Yeah. Usually that is, you have a derived column in your staging table with with the code in it, and you implement that in your key. So you can either create a derived column with that column included, or you can supply it as a part of a list of keys in your hubs, for example.
Project basically needs to maintain a list of what the standard codes are.
Yeah, like reference table.
So every time you work on
support.
it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Well, okay, that's all for today. We've been Alex Higgs and Neil Strange of Data Vault. We've been talking about business keys. Don't forget to check out the Data Vault user group, our regular meetups, and do sign up for reminders of those meetups. We've got some really interesting ones coming soon as well, if you check that out. And check out our websites also. And if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, then please do reach out to us and let us know, and we'll be very happy to talk about them. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.
Bye.